All right. Hello, everyone. The room is full. Nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all. And before I get started, I just want to make a point on something you just said. My best friend and business partner. So when I first started out Ingressive, I thought that I was supposed to chase the best resumes, the people with the longest credentials, that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize that you do the best business with people that you like. So the first thing is that I want everyone to think about as you go into your networking session after this, allow yourself to be attracted to the people that you actually get along with. Don't try to go find somebody, oh, this person's the most important person in the room. Oh, I heard that, da 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 da. No, you will find that you do the best business when you feel comfortable, when you feel safe, when you feel genuine value connection with the people that you're meeting. Okay? So great case study right here. We see what the amazing things that can happen when you do work with people you actually like. Most important thing.
Thank you very much, Maya. And thank you, everyone. Just like Peace said, Maya is a very big part of, our journey. Back in 2016, when, we were 7, we were not even living in Lagos. We would travel to Lagos to attend tech events just so we could network. And we met a lot of cool people back then. I remember, I think the day after the first event, Yele took Peace and I out for drinks, and now Yele is like so big. And you can imagine when we met Yele, he just started working with High Growth Africa. And so it's very important that you take advantage of this networking session. And Maya knows a lot about, taking advantage of strategic, networking opportunities. And so I'm going to be asking her a few questions just so she can share more light about it and you can get a lot of tea ahead of the speed networking session. And just to add, you're going to be winning prizes for engaging in the networking session. So don't just listen,
Prizes.
don't just engage.
I want to be networking.
I mean, you should even try to network with Maya. Okay, Maya, thank you very much. Can you please tell us about your journey through building your network from the beginning to this point? What has that been like for you?
Yeah. So people think I'm exaggerating when I say I grew up really poor in rural Minnesota and I had no connection. So I'm going to specify so you understand the reality of there's no excuse. Even if you're starting from ground zero and you have no connections and you come from no background with connections, I literally grew up in a trailer park with the roof caving in rural Minnesota. That's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. Mom was in the military. Dad's a pastor. Nobody even knows what a financial statement is. So starting out, nobody was in business. I had no connections. There wasn't like a rich uncle that I could hit up and he could help out with stuff. No, there was nothing. So when I started out Ingressive, it was literally just me going door to door and going online and tweeting to people and in LinkedIn DMing people cold. No previous connections. Everyone hear that? No excuse. Absolutely no excuse. And the things that were so vitally important at the beginning. So when I went out, I was able to travel. So I went in Silicon Valley, I literally went door to door. And I refused to leave offices until I got meetings with the executive. Now, maybe don't do that. It's post-COVID. People are kind of weird about that. But going online and being persistent and cold outreaching is okay. And we started with Ingressive Advisory. So first I tried launching, a $50 million fund at 23, didn't get super far with that. So instead we launched Ingressive Advisory, where we brought global investors to the continent. So Google, Y Combinator, Techstars, GitHub, Figma brought all these guys executives to the continent, helped them make investments, lead deals, launch market expansion, launch opportunities across Africa. Where we started, again, it's not like I had these executive connections from previous work experience. I literally went door to door and LinkedIn DM'd people, and I started generating content that they found useful and then would retweet or add me or respond to my LinkedIn DM. And one of the most important things also is figuring out why the other person might care about responding to you. And so either a personal connection, and don't don't, when I started out, I was like, oh, I'm young and female and I need to pretend those things don't exist. No, use it to your advantage. Whatever the thing is that's unique about you that will allow you to bond and connect with someone, go for that thing. Whether it's, oh, I'm from this background, oh, I went to this university, oh, I'm from this location, oh, I'm really into these activities too, oh, I love anime, whatever it is, find the thing that you can uniquely connect with that person on. Before I get too excited, I'll let you keep asking your questions.
Thank you very much for that. And this is a question a lot of people ask, right? What are some potential opportunities that are available when you build relationships, and how people leverage them? What are some potential opportunities available, and how can people leverage those relationships? Because I think it's one thing for people to reach out to people and say, hey, I do this, or I see that you're doing this as well. And it definitely shouldn't end there, right? So how can people continue to build those relationships so that it becomes something, that would be valuable to both parties?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people say, "Oh, I feel, really icky or uncomfortable when I'm networking with people or when I'm reaching out to people because I don't like going and like constantly asking people for things." The start of your networking should not be an ask. That's where the problem is to even begin with. The beginning of your networking, of course, the most important thing, I'll say it once again, this best friendship really gives a prime example. Allow yourself to be drawn to and attracted to people where you feel a genuine connection, because people can feel that genuine connection as well. Just go into a room, you've set your intention, be open to connecting with whoever comes up to you and be friendly and have just like you're starting a friendship. And so when you're reaching out to these people online, in person versus online is different. But say, by and large, you want to reach out to people online. Don't start by going in with the ask. Say, for example, how many founders do we have in the room right now? Is it mostly founders? Is it tech professionals? No tech professionals.
Okay. Tech professionals.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I imagine people will be reaching out to others for job positions or for fundraising purposes. And so when you first reach out to someone, as opposed to going, hey, I have this startup and I want money, give it to me right now. Or, hey, I immediately need this job, I'm desperate for a new opportunity, give it to me now. Don't lead with an immediate ask. You can set your intention, like be clear about where it is that you want to go and what you're trying to achieve, but start by building a relationship. Maybe you have been following somebody on Twitter or on LinkedIn, or you go to their bio or their website and see their bio and glean some information about their preferences, maybe their extracurriculars, stuff that interests them in their spare time. And so use these where your first outreach to them can be maybe an article that you're sending them that you know they're interested in. Or maybe it's a piece of information that you connecting on something you've seen is genuinely interesting to them. There's somebody, Io, are you in the audience? Io, who has formerly worked with Ingressive, one of our first analysts. Okay, so Io's in the audience. This is a fantastic story that I love to tell, and he's a really incredible professional networker. When he was at Ingressive, and we had a couple companies that wanted to connect with like Andreessen Horowitz and Sequoia and these different funds in the US, I didn't have those connections. Io did. How did Io have those connections? He hadn't been to Silicon Valley. He hadn't been to Sand Hill Road. He hadn't done those networking. He had been creating engaging content on Twitter that people from the top firms around the world started retweeting, and was able to slide into their DMs and send really great messages that then established remote relationships. So not leading with a like, oh, I need this from you, X, Y, and Z. Leading with creating real value, knowing the unique perspective and insights that you have, wherever you are in the ecosystem, whatever your position, you are seeing things that other people are not seeing that's going to be very truly valuable. And so how can you capture those in bite-sized forms and be sharing thought leadership regularly and be promoting it, maybe even tagging some of the people that you want to connect with? So it doesn't matter if you have a passport. It doesn't matter your location. Literally, social media has democratized access to everyone. You don't need to be sitting in, a boys club in whatever part of Silicon Valley or whatever to connect with the important players in the world. Just create useful content online regularly and be tagging these people.
Thank you very much for that. And now, regarding this, would you say that you always had the skill set for networking, or did you intentionally, develop those skill set for networking? Because, from what you have shared, it is not just about, reaching out to a person and introducing yourself to them and all of that. It is literally a process of building that relationship. Are there skill sets that kind of help with that? And did you have those skill set when you just started?
I mean, I think it's been a 360. I think when I started out, I was so persistent that eventually people are like, this annoying girl, just what do you want? Yes, 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 come. Or, started to be inclusive. And now this, or I guess 180. Now the way that I approach networking is I allow myself I put myself in the right rooms. And so that anyone that I connect with in those rooms is, you know, um, relevant. And I just allow myself to naturally connect to the people that I feel I resonate with. So I step into a room. Who are the people you find yourself naturally drawn towards? So I'd say that has been one of the most important things to change over time. Because when I first started out Ingressive, I mentioned this, I hired for resumes. I hired who went to the top school, who worked at the top company, who had the shiniest resume. And I found that over time, those were not necessarily the people who stuck.
Okay.
The people who stuck at Ingressive were the people with whom I had aligned vision, the people who were humble and wanted to work hard, the people who deeply cared about the same things that I cared about. And those are the right people to be building businesses with and the right people to be raising money from. So again, I just can't stress this enough. You may want to be like, oh my gosh, this person who runs this VC, I got to go talk to them, or this person, that is true. Connect, you have an intention, you have a strategy, but it's really about the people. It's really allowing for those authentic connections.
Okay. Just to reiterate what you've said, you say, allow yourself to connect with people that you're attracted to, right? People that you're drawn to, right? And be very persistent in what you do. Invest in building a relationship with the people that you network with, and not just, network with them because you want to ask for something immediately, and just give yourself time to, kind of build that relationship. Okay. Thank you very much, Maya.
And
is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, and on that building of the relationship. So say you're reaching out to an investment firm and you want to talk to the partner and you're being strategic and you've done your research beforehand and you know their interests, you know that the things that they invest in align with with your company. Or say you're reaching out to the CEO of a startup that you really want to work with. Allow your intention to be known at the beginning, and in that initial email, as I mentioned, make sure that you're adding value. So you're including some content that would be relevant for them, and then allow for consistent follow-ups. So say you have that first introductory meeting. You're not going to close money on the first day. You might get hired, you may not on that very first meeting. But if not, and if it becomes something where you're building a relationship over time to show and to prove value before you can close that ticket or before you can get that job opportunity, make sure to leave a tip, like at every interaction point you have. Make sure to leave a tip of, hey, I'm going to do this thing and I'll give you updates about it next time. So what I mean by that is each time you have an interaction point, drop a piece of information to show that you're responsible and disciplined and that you will follow up on and actually do the things that you say you're going to do. And then the next time, give them the data point of you actually having closed that thing. So whether it's a VC fund and you say, oh, I'm going to hire a product manager and I'm going to launch my 100-day plan, or I'm going to, launch in this customer segment.
Okay.
Actually do that thing, and then your next interaction, show them. Because every time, this is the other thing to remember, every time you have a one-to-one, every time you have a touch point in a live interaction with somebody, they are extracting data about how you are as a person and how you are professionally. And so allow every interaction point also to underline what it is you want them to know about you. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So make sure to consistently make claims that you then follow up with in time to prove that you are a responsible and disciplined person. So when you come with the actual ask, they will already have all this data of, oh, this person consistently does the thing that they say that they're going to do. And if you cannot get in touch with say you're trying to go in the front door while you're applying for a job, or you're trying to talk to an analyst when you're trying to apply at a VC fund, go to the founder. Like, people are really, oh, I need to go, and there's this process, and it's bureaucracy, I need to apply on the da-da-da. Go have a direct conversation with the person who owns the organization. There's really nothing stopping you. If you can figure out a way to add value and create content that's engaging or interesting enough for that person, come talk to the person who started the company or whatever lead decision maker you need to talk to in order to close the thing. Don't wait in line. Never wait in line. You'll be waiting there forever. Don't go through the front door if it's locked. Go through the chimney. I've said this before. This was part of the Instagram post. Go through the window. It doesn't matter. You can find a way. You don't have to take the path that's already carved. So I just want everyone, if you leave with nothing else, know that you can go direct. You can always skip the line, and you can always find the key person that you need to interact with in order to close the deal, in order to get to the next step of where you're trying to go.
Thank you very much, Maya. And just to reiterate what Maya just said, you do not have to wait for the door to be open. If the door is not open, go through the window, go directly. If there's somebody that you need to speak to, if there's a founder that you've been trying to talk to that you see here right now, do what Maya has just said and talk to them. And don't just, walk up to them because you want to tell them that you're a huge fan. Make sure that you're going to them with value. Make sure that you're also presenting yourself as someone who's valuable, and take advantage of that opportunity. Okay, Maya, thank you very much. We've been told that we're running out of time. And so we're going to go on to the networking session right now. And I'm going to hand you over to our host. Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so P says we can take 2 questions. Okay, I saw that hand.
Hi, Maya. My name is Damilari. So my question is, as a founder, how do you pick a problem to solve? We know a lot of us here were very creative with coming up with solutions, and my basic question is, how do you pick a problem to solve? I have that problem where I have these so many ideas, and I've built small MVPs that are doing successfully. So I don't know which one to pick and all of that. Also, I got your email. We spoke about the Travel Bunny app. Hopefully, I can meet you later. Thanks.
Okay. I'll
Uh,
your shot. That was awesome. Yes, you can meet me later. Why?
Nice
Because you
shot.
asked. Did everyone hear that? He's the only one in the room who's asked to see me later. Guess what he's going to do? See me later. Shoot your shot. Yes. To answer your question, so you have a lot of ideas, and you're trying to figure out how or which one to focus on. And you have a bunch of MVPs and some traction on each one. I would say before you go there, I'd take one step back, and I would write down all of your key skills, and I would go to the people that you've worked with, like your bosses, your subordinates, in previous investors if you have them, friends, and I would ask them, what do you see me light up about? Like, what am I talking about or doing where you see me really, really excited? I would ask, what would you come to me for? Like, what's my core expertise? Like, what do I do better than anyone else you know? And I'd say, why are you connected to me? Why did you hire me? Why did you decide that I should be your friend, et cetera, et cetera? I would ask for candid feedback from my whole community, and I would sit down and write down what I thought my key skills and interests were, and I would compare those 2 notes. So I would pull back and really figure out what are me as an individual, as a founder, what are my own unique selling points? What are my own unique skills? What do I want to really cater to and focus on cultivating over time as I go on this entrepreneurial journey? Depending on the feedback of this, I then know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And if one of the things you're good at is building, but one of the things you're not necessarily good at is the strategy and vision and pivoting and iteration, which maybe that's why it's been hard to commit. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. I would then look for somebody with complementary skill sets to start working with and find a problem. When you asked your community, when you asked yourself, I'm really passionate about, or like, what am I passionate about? What do you see me light up about? I would look for opportunities in that space. There's this idea that, as you know, if you want to be in the tech space, you have to be a founder and you have to do it by yourself, and we all have to be the Mark Zuckerbergs and da-da-da. No. How are real companies built? By teams. Nobody's doing this by themselves. So if you're not clear, you don't have to go out and just like find something. You could also join an organization that's already established, that's already identified product market fit and is scaling, and you have some incredible unique skill set that they need. And then you're not trying to, you know, blindly find your way when you haven't really figured out exactly where you want to go. So that's where I would start. Now, if you have a bunch of different ideas that each have traction and you know, initial users, et cetera, and you're trying to figure out which one to focus on, I would talk to your customers. Those are the real people who are going to guide you into what's essential. So I would talk to your customers and figure out what product offering is truly essential to them and what's the most engaging and what truly solves their need. And I would double down and laser focus on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last question.
Can we take another question?
Hi, Maya. My name is Blessing Emma. I'm a blockchain engineer and a Web3 developer advocate. Really nice to meet you. I really admire you a lot. So my question is, like, how do you build male relationship? This is mostly for female, in terms of, in this world, we are networking. And I know that everyone says bring value to the table. But there are rooms that you enter and you are valuable already. And men want to help you climb the ladder. But then they feel like that you should be grateful to them, and like they want to take advantage of that. So how do you like maintain that constant connection with, like, let me use the word male relationships without crossing boundaries?
Firstly, I'm sorry that you're dealing with people that are seemingly exploitive, because that's what that sounds like. You do something or somebody helps you with something and then they're expecting something that you didn't offer. So I'm sorry that you have to deal with that, and anyone else in the room that's dealing with something like that, that's really not okay. I would say, you know, 90% of our investors at the fund, it's not that we haven't pitched to women, but I'd say 90+% of the investors at the fund are male. And we now are at about 40% female founders and co-founders. So for the female co-founders and founders in the room, we're investing in female-led companies. About half of our companies we've invested in are female. I would say, you know, when I started out, I thought that it was necessary for me to tolerate and deal with behavior that would be otherwise unacceptable for people that were offering me money, opportunities, anything of that nature. And I found those people who were exploitive at the beginning didn't give shit. They gave me nothing. They made these big promises. And the people who actually, over time, really contributed to my success didn't ask for things it wasn't a quid pro quo. It wasn't an exchange like that. So I would say if you notice, so firstly, you can set your own boundaries. You want to give whatever you want to me, that's great. I don't have to give you anything back. And I'm going to clarify that at the beginning. So firstly, make sure that you are clarifying to people, yes, I would love this introduction. What is it that you're expecting? Like, clarify if it's transactional, clarify that transaction on the front end and set your boundaries. This is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. And stick to that. It's not like you are promising something that you can't actually fulfill. Set the terms at the beginning of the interaction. And then secondly, the people that are acting like that, they're not going to help you. They're not going to be the reason you succeed. Actually, they're going to pull you down, because that compromising your self-worth, compromising your boundaries, that's not going to make you stronger. That's not going to make you the founder that you want to become or the tech executive that you want to become. So I would say, you know, at the beginning, I thought that I had to compromise my boundaries, my self-worth, my, you know, comfort to move ahead. And what I've really realized is there's infinite people you're going to come across. There's infinite founders you'll be able to, and we're all online. There's like how many billion people online? If somebody sucks and is being unkind or asking for you for things that you know are not okay, forget that person and move on to the next. The world is truly abundant, and you can find people that will honor you and treat you with respect. I want everyone to hear this. You can find people and only work with people that can honor you and treat you with respect, but then you have to say no to those that will not. So find that no button inside where you can have the self-respect to let go of things that are not meant for you. Everyone leave with that, please. Do not accept nonsense, please.
Thank you very much, Maya. Please let's give Maya a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much.